Taylor Swift has released a new music video, and you know what that means? Time to look for fun references and Easter eggs. What's up, y'all? Lisa here, and I know I've been really bad about keeping up with this channel, but if there's one thing that can bring me back, at least for a little bit, it's a new Taylor Swift music video and album release. Now, she has really blessed us with a double album, The Tortured Poets Department, The Anthology. 31 freaking songs that I haven't even made my way through. I mean, I've listened to them, but to actually sit there and really listen to the lyrics is something I am still working on. I'm sure you can find many people who are decoding the songs about who they're about and whatnot. You know, a lot seem to be about her history with Maddie Healy, some about her breakup with Joe Alwyn. There's a couple about Travis Kelce. And there's also one about Kim Kardashian, but I am here to focus on the first single, Fortnight, which features Post Malone. One thing I love is when Taylor does a good celebrity cameo, and so that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about from this music video. Like, before I even watched it, I saw her post these pictures with Ethan Hawke and Josh Charles, and I was just like, oh my god, no she didn't, yes she did. I love her so much because she is mashing up two of my favorite things. Now, Taylor's album was obviously called The Tortured Poets Department, so what's the connection with Ethan Hawke and Josh Charles? Well, they were both in one of my favorite movies growing up, which was, like, I think the first movie to really hit me with an emotional gut punch that just, like, I still remember to this day, and that movie is Dead Poets Society. Now, when Taylor posted about the music video, she put this line in her caption saying, "Tortured poets, meet your colleagues from down the hall, the dead poets." Alright, now back to the music video. Let's dive in. Taylor basically posted saying that everything in the music video was a metaphor or a reference to one corner of the album or another. So let's see if we can spot some of them. So first, the song itself is probably teaching a whole new generation what a fortnight is, because I mean, back in English class in school, I definitely zoned out when we got to poetry and stuff, but a fortnight is essentially a 2-week period, and this song is about a whirlwind 2-week romance with kind of a forbidden love, which many are assuming is about her recent summer fling with Maddie Healy, who she actually has a really storied history with, dating back to around like 2014, I believe, and you can find a bunch of articles about all of that. So the music video kicks off with this old-time movie title card, and you know, it wouldn't be a Taylor Swift music video if she didn't work her cats into the video somehow, and that starts with the title card that says Fortnite, and if you look at the corners, you can see they are little cats, and in the middle at the bottom is a ball of yarn. Alright, so like I said, the overall aesthetic gives kind of this mixture of old-timey monster movie, sort of psychological thriller type movies, and even the silent movies. Many are saying it's a mix of kind of like Poor Things, which is a movie that Taylor's friend Emma Stone starred in and won the Oscar for, and she's also credited on the song Florida, I think as Oddities, I don't really know what that is, and many are also saying it's similar to Frankenstein and some other classic movies. Okay, so once we get to the visual of Taylor, we have her locked up in a very white room that's kind of like a little bit askew all over the place, and she's wearing what looks like a wedding dress and dressed like an old movie star. So why does this look and fashion and makeup all look familiar? Well, her look here seems to be based off the actress Clara Bow, and that was the it girl of the 20s when the silent movies were around and they were turning into talkies, and Taylor even has a song on her album named after Clara Bow. This all goes a little bit further than that though, because when you look at Taylor's outfit, she was actually giving us hints about this way back in February with her Grammys outfit, which also, with the choker necklace and the makeup and the dress itself, very much parallels to this music video and Clara Bow. Now, seeing Taylor in this kind of upside-down asylum room that feels incredibly white and sterile, and maybe should I say clean? It also feels like it's a possible reference to Champagne Problems, the lyric, "She would have made such a lovely bride," because the dress she's in looks like a wedding dress, and then the lyric continues, "What a shame she's effed in the head," this looks like an insane asylum type of room. And of course, Taylor also has other song lyrics and whatever referencing things like insanity and whatever. She has a song called Mad Woman. She's sang lyrics like, "Oh my god, she's insane," and "I bet you think about me," and other things. I also feel like maybe some people will point out that there's a bathtub on the ceiling, and that's definitely like a bathtub from the age with the clawfoot and all of that. But I know there's probably some people who are like, "Ooh, it looks like the bathtub from maybe Look What You Made Me Do from Reputation," except that bathtub I think may have been black, but everybody loves to look for the Reputation Easter eggs no matter what, even though I feel like this music video really just kind of sticks to this album and past things instead of like trying to point at things for the future. But look, I know people like to get real delusional and delulu with their theories, and so if we're gonna go there, let's do that for a minute with this bathtub. So there's rumors Taylor is going to be in the Deadpool vs. Wolverine movie as the Dazzler. I mean, she's friends with Sean Levy, she's friends with Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and I know a lot of people are saying that since the last song on the original version of the album is Clara Bow and the last word sung is dazzling, that could hint at her being the Dazzler. Now, we can take that a step further with the bathtub, the white bathtub, because Taylor once borrowed Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool costume for Halloween, and she was pictured in a bathtub with her friends in that suit. So, if you like to play with the clown theories, that's just kind of my little add-on to that one. But moving on. When we have the person walking in with the pills to make Taylor try and forget her love, the forget him pills, there's some numbers on the bottle. The first number is her birth date, December 13th, 1989, and then the second one is the release of this album, which was April 19th, 2024. Now, the way that Taylor takes the pills seems to be kind of reminiscent of the scene in Blank Space when she has the candy on her tongue. Taylor then goes to the two-way mirror and starts taking off the makeup on her face to reveal identical tattoos to Post Malone, who is featured in the song. Now, before I watched the video and I just saw this picture floating around of the video, I thought someone had just done a punk edit, but no. Oddly, it doesn't look that bad on her. But anyway, this thing where she's wiping off her makeup and then getting the reminiscent tattoos of her ex-love, who's played by Post Malone, seems to be a reference to the lyric, "Took the miracle move on drug, the effects were temporary." As we see, she's not really forgetting him as the tattoos show up. So then we move to another room where then she is sitting with Post Malone across from her. Now, in this room that's filled with filing cabinets, she's wearing this Victorian era poet dress, and we see her typing on a typewriter, which is prominent throughout the video and then in references and imagery for this whole album. Now, in the title track of the album, The Tortured Poets Department, she sings about her lover leaving his typewriter at her apartment, which is a reference to Maddie Healy. Now, at one point, we see that Taylor is typing, "I love you, it's ruining my life," over and over, that lyric, and some have pointed out how this scene is kind of similar to the typewriter scene in The Shining, where it's typed out, "All work and no play make Jack a dull boy," over and over and over, kind of like leading into the insanity. Also, Elle Magazine pointed out that on the third line there's kind of a blank space in the middle of ruining. Now, I also tried to make out what was kind of typed on the stacks of paper next to both typewriters, next to Taylor and Post, but I couldn't really make it out. Now, let's talk about the typewriter itself. We get a close-up of her typing on the keys, and I saw some people online pointing out that there's no number one key, and they were thinking this was a reference maybe to Taylor taking the song The One out of her set list after the news broke that her and Joe had broken up. And there's some other things that people were thinking of, but I honestly don't think this is an Easter egg. I looked it up. This is just how old typewriters were made. There was no one key. They just used a lowercase l as the number one, and that was very standard in vintage typewriters. So I think that one is actually that's the typewriter that they had. All right, moving on. We have Taylor and Post typing away, and we see the color orange coming from her typewriter and the color blue coming from his typewriter, meeting in the middle, and they kind of look like they are flames, maybe like, twin flames, which Taylor seems to mention a lot, especially in the song All Too Well, and a lot of people seem to think that Maddie and Taylor are twin flames. Now, there's the color of these flames. We know that Taylor loves to describe things in color. Now, the whole room is black and white, and the only things we're seeing in color are these flames, especially later on when you see these papers burning. So that kind of follows in with the lyric that she has in the past, screaming colors. And in the song Red, she obviously sings about different colors and says losing him was blue. And, Post Malone, who's supposed to be playing her ex, has the blue flame, and she's mentioned the color blue many other times, kind of in reference to an ex-love. And then People magazine also pointed out that a lot of fans seem to think that the color references lyrics from Illicit Affairs, where she says, "You showed me colors I can't see with anyone else." And since those are kind of, like I said, the only things colored things in the video, it kind of fits with that too. Now, the next scene is Taylor and Post laying on a ton of papers that make out the silhouette of Taylor, which I feel like fits with this Victorian theme we're going for, kind of like a cameo necklace. And another user pointed out the parallels of it looking like the Style music video. Now, Taylor's also holding a book with the word us on it, kind of a reference to the song The Story of Us. And then we also have a bunch of papers flying around them and stuff, which is very reminiscent of a scene from the Story of Us music video. We then see that Taylor and Post hug, and Post's tattoos are gone. So you gotta kind of wonder what the significance of the disappearing tattoos are. For her, it's like she's not forgetting him, so she gets his tattoos, I guess, and maybe he is also remembering her and morphing into her, so his tattoos are gone to match her. I'm sure there's a lot more to that scene and the significance, but she's turned my brain into mush these past few days, so help me out, y'all. But after that, we kind of head back into the sci-fi like movie element of this music video, as Taylor looks like she's kind of being experimented on by a bunch of doctors. Now, as it zooms out, that's when we get our first glimpse of, like I said, Ethan Hawke and Josh Charles. I talked about them at the beginning of this whole video, but if you also notice on their jackets, we can see their names. Josh plays Dr. Overstreet and Ethan is Dr. Anderson. So what's the significance of those last names? They literally use the same last names as their characters from the Dead Poets Society. There's also this black dog walking around the lab, and Taylor has a song on her album called The Black Dog, which is one of my favorites from the album. But also, The Black Dog is an actual bar in London, and the phrase is also used as a metaphor for melancholy or depression. Then we have the readouts that are monitoring like her brain activity or heart rate, whatever it is, and we can see that in between those waves are the same lyrics that we saw typed out on the typewriter earlier. I love you, it's ruining my life. You can also see there that the machine has a little TTPD logo on it. Then we have our doctors not being so nice to Taylor and giving her some shock therapy. And this again is kind of a call out to a bunch of many things like horror movies, classic horror movies, whatever. But also it could be another reference to Clara Bow, who underwent shock therapy in 1949 when she checked herself into the Institute of Living. Alright, so I feel like if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you know she loves the rain and imagery of rain all throughout her entire career. And so we have a scene here of a lot of rain with her sitting on the top of a phone booth while Post Malone is in the phone booth trying to call her. This obviously matches up with the lyrics of the song at that point where he's like calling you but you won't pick up. Also, I feel like the fact that she's not getting this phone call and she's just sitting in the rain with it pouring down on her could be a reference to the song Clean and finally being able to kind of move on and being able to breathe, because like in the next scene we kind of see a free Taylor ripping open the filing cabinets and being surrounded by the burning files and papers. Now, when it comes to those burning files and papers, so some fans think that this is kind of a reference to some lyrics in the song Dear Reader, where she sings, "Dear Reader, burn all the files, desert all your past lives, and if you don't recognize yourself, that means you did it right." Also, with the burning papers around her, it reminds me a little bit, this is kind of a stretch, but of her holding the burning cash in the vault and look what you made me do. And then we have Taylor kind of breaking free from that white room that she was held in at the beginning of the music video, where she throws a cart through the mirror to break free. And I love that this person here pointed out her throwing the chair off stage during Forever and Always during the Fearless tour. And I feel like I have seen like Taylor throw things and break things a lot of times before, but I'm sort of blanking on really specifics. But we've seen destructive Taylor do things in other music videos, and right now the only things that are coming to mind is like her cutting the wing off the plane and Look What You Made Me Do, or smashing the car in Blank Space, and maybe that's kind of why that seems like it's reminding me of that, but that's just probably a stretch. And then lastly, it also feels like the bracelet she's wearing in the rain scene when she kind of touches Post Malone's hand at the very end matches the one that she's selling on her website. And, well, I guess that kind of is all I've found so far. That kind of wraps up the music video, right? I still haven't finished, like I said, reading all the lyrics from all of her songs on the double album, so I'm sure there could be other references to the new songs that I'm just not aware of yet, but I did my best, y'all. You know that she really puts a lot of thought into these things, and it's hard to kind of get inside her brain sometimes, I feel. But I gotta know if you found any other Easter eggs and references that I didn't. Please let me know. Also, I want to know what your favorite references and stuff were in this music video, and overall, what did you think about this music video? I have loved that Taylor has taken on writing and directing her own music videos for the last, last few years, for a little bit, and I know that she is set to direct a feature film soon, and just seeing what she's done with these music videos makes me so excited for that, and to just see what her brain comes up with when you have a whole feature film. in front of you. But other than that, I also want to know your favorite track from the Tortured Poets department. Which one do you hope she kind of plays as a surprise song on the Eras tour when that starts back up? Because she just added 31 songs to her repertoire, so much to choose from. But let me know your thoughts on this music video, on the references, on the Easter eggs, and everything happening with Taylor Swift right now. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time, whatever that video happens to be. But thank you for hanging out with me for this long, and I'll see you next time.